Good evening. Our top story this week. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is bragging after officially pawning off 20,000 of your stolen children through their website, adoptuskids.org, which launched under former President Bush back in 2002. In Alabama, a new law is going to prevent registered sex offenders from living near foster homes. In Georgia, the Glenn County CPS office has a mold problem. And in California, a group of protesters is complaining that CPS agents didn't save one particular kid. In Arizona, the governor vetoes a bill that would have allowed the child protective industry to begin adoption proceedings before the real parents' rights were even terminated. The U.S. Supreme Court is set to rule on the American Indian Child Welfare Act that a little girl's real father used to get his kid back from the adoptive parents in the baby Veronica case. In Illinois, an audit finds that the state has the biggest backlog of uninvestigated child abuse claims since 2006, and they have not been complying with state law by investigating such claims of child abuse within a timely manner. Several U.S. states are trying to fight the discrimination of gay foster kids, as several of them are taking crap from their self-righteous religious foster parents. And in Nebraska, kids are spending way too much time in foster care. In New Zealand this week, the country's anti-spanking law has been deemed an utter failure based on a flawed ideology. In China, hospitals are advertising the sale of unwanted babies. China also has another 570,000 orphans to deal with, most of which aren't even known by the country's child welfare system. And there are reports of child abuse at an ex-children's home in Vienna, Austria. In Northern Ireland, people from Scotland who were abused while in the care of the child protective industry are being urged to contact an official inquiry. In Spain, a mother wins a lawsuit after being forcefully separated from her child almost a decade ago. And in Trinidad, the courts are unfair to single dads. In Canada, a 13-year-old girl was charged with stealing her foster parents' car. And in Manitoba, a Mennonite community is distressed after the child protective industry snatches dozens of kids in a single swoop. In England, problems are building in social services because of staff shortages and impossibly high child protection caseloads. And a new report argues that official British government parenting advice has been found to be corrosive and harmful to children. In entertainment news this week, Charlie Sheen's ex, Brooke Mueller, is branded an unfit mother after leaving a drug treatment program early and was warned by the judge that she has little chance of regaining custody of her kids. In sports, NBA star Allen Iverson's ex-wife is accusing him of kidnapping their kids, which he says is bullshit. And a BBC sports reporter gets 15 months for sexually abusing underage girls. In Arizona, a CPS agent got arrested for trying to hinder the prosecution of her boyfriend, who was a Mexican mafia gangster who was convicted of second-degree murder last month. In Florida, a couple who is already in jail is accused of filing a false report of child abuse in order to try to keep the guy's son's mother from moving out of town with his kid. In Michigan, the Supreme Court orders a family court judge off the bench for lying under oath in her own divorce case. In Maryland, a foster parent enters an Alford plea to one count of sexual abuse of a minor. And in Massachusetts, a New Hampshire man is sentenced to 10 years in prison for sexually abusing his 7-year-old foster brother. In Rhode Island, police are investigating the death of a 2-year-old girl who was in foster care. In Illinois, a foster mother is facing murder charges after killing a 4-year-old in her care. In Kentucky, the Supreme Court overturns the conviction of an adopted brother and the death of a 9-year-old girl. A couple who were wanted for the murder of their adopted toddler in Mississippi have been spotted in Los Angeles trying to sell DVDs, cars, and puppies. In New Jersey, a 16-year-old gets 30 years for killing his foster father. In Oregon, a 16-year-old girl who is the center of a custody battle against the mother of the kid's sex offender boyfriend runs away. In Texas, CPS agents quit amid a probe into their mishandling of a toddler's death last year. In Tennessee, a man says that he was treated like an ATM machine by the court after a divorce. And finally, tonight, in Pennsylvania, the father of Adolf Hitler Campbell, who went to court to try to get him back from CPS while dressed in a full Nazi uniform, proposes to his new girlfriend, and she said yes. For these stories and all the latest stirred on the child protective industry, visit www.legallykidnapped.com. And until next week, this is Baby LK, over and out.